This is Boss Cowboy Sports, and we bring you another Measure Kool-Aid report, but this time we're talking about kicker. And I'm going to make the case that I don't think kicker is the problem. I know some of y'all like, what, man, you crazy. Obviously, I got a spin to it. Kicker not the problem. It's not. The problem is the coach. John Fassel is the problem. It's his ego. And I'm going to make this whole case because I really sincerely believe this, because it's a pattern of it. All right. When you start seeing these patterns, you can't ignore it, because then you are operating in what some would call insanity. One of my favorite YouTubers, Tom Downey, said it best to me. Watching his Twitter. First of all, Michael Gelkin came out and said, Cowboys plan to be patient at kicker, but the patience is being tested now. Considering one has barely made half his field goals, is it now time to shake up the kicker competition? And so Tom said, remind me what the definition of insanity is again? Which is obviously doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. And that's what the Cowboys are doing. But believe me, they know, and Jerry know, and they also have a pattern of covering for their coaches, which they do. I said this on the show previously, that what happens in the Dallas Cowboys is bad coaches stay while good players get cut first. They first cut the good player, then figure out it's the bad coach, and then they finally get rid of the bad coach. That's the long history of the Dallas Cowboys, especially when you look at with the epic responses coming from Jerry. Like he said, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said the field goal inefficiency today didn't bother me because of how the win attributed. Would like to see more short attempts such as extra points. All right, but I'm gonna show you that they do this, but you can't ignore it because it's been obvious. It's been, especially in the mojo moments, they are horrible on the mojo moments. And if people don't know what the mojo moment is, that's basically where Mike McCarthy created simulated pressure on the offense and the defense and the kickers, where it's a sudden change, and you got to adapt to the sudden change. It's a great drill. I love it. It's getting them mentally prepared for sudden change and then adapting and still executing with the sudden change and adrenaline rush of changes. Great job by Mike McCarthy. For people that ask, what is he doing? Why is he a head coach? And what is the skills of being a head coach? That is one of them on display, but a lot of people going to ignore that. But that's not the point that we making. It's more so about these kickers. So let's get into why it is not these kickers, because obviously the kickers have issues. It's John. So let's go back and look at the history. So first, we go talk about what's obvious from the history of Greg Zuerlein. So you got to go back and look at the relationship of John and how he treat players, right? And then I'm gonna put it all together. So this is coming from John. He said, I always thought I would be a Ram for life. For one reason or another, things happened the way they did. Coach Fassel left, and when he left, I thought, this guy brought me into the league and stuck by me. We've worked very well together, and when he landed in Dallas, I thought, if I'm not going to be with the Rams, Dallas would be awesome. I would love to be a Cowboy, Zuerlein said on ESPN Dallas 103.3. As things went, Dallas was interested, probably in part to Coach Fassel. And so that's when I decided it doesn't matter if I stay with the same team my whole career. I want to be where I'm going to be happiest, and I think Dallas is that place. So as you can see, Greg Zuerlein wanted to be a Ram for life. But what made him move was his relationship with John Fassel. This is one of those, it's not what you know, but who you know situations. And John Fassel is a good coach, but see, the problem is you got a lot of people like him that run this world to where they are skilled, they are good, they take risks, they plan, but they have a side of them that's based on a soft skill called ego. And that ego is what get them in trouble, because they fall in love with certain players, or they fall in love with what a professor told me: don't ever fall in love with your own idea. You got to be willing to divorce a bad idea. Sometimes you got to be willing to divorce a relationship. You got to, when it's not working. And when you build these bonds with players, and I drafted you and I've been with you for so long, and then you begin to have these heartfelt allegiances to some, then you don't know when it's time to cut the cord and let go. And it was obvious, because if you look at Dallas and you look at the history with Dallas and what happened with Fassel, with Greg Zuerlein, and I'm going back to these kickers, because y'all think I'm not talking about these kickers. I'm definitely talking about our current kicker situation, but I first have to paint the picture. So if you look at what happened, we all know that when Greg got here, he began to struggle, right? We lost some key games because of him. I mean, we lost the Tampa game because of him. If he make his kicks, we walk out 1-0 versus 0-1 versus Tampa, with a whole lot of momentum going into the season. Talked about Greg Zuerlein missed a 43-yard field goal in the Dallas Cowboys 25-22 loss to the Arizona Cardinals in Week 17 at AT&T Stadium. The missing 3 points turned out to be the difference in the game, and ultimately the Cowboys' chance to continue their pursuit of the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs. Then he said the Cowboys are already in the postseason, having locked up the NFC East prior to Week 16 showdown with Washington, but they are taking a shaky kicker into the playoffs who has missed either a field goal or PAT in 7 of his 15 games in 2021. So Mark Lane reported on this in a tweet, and he said basically the Cowboys defense and punt coverage are playing good today. Dallas offense C grade. Greg Zuerlein is having one of those days. Cowboys special teams coach John Fassel has been with Zuerlein his entire career, going back to the 2012 St. Louis Rams. No one in the Cowboys coaching staff has more confidence in Zuerlein, mainly because he's been there for all of Zuerlein's 150 career games. Yeah, based on relationship, it's not business. It's not business. It's based on I like you, he's my guy type of stuff, and just what it is. And I'm gonna paint this picture because it's facts, and a lot of people don't talk about this. They don't talk about this part of life, the bias that goes into sometimes having relationships. But these type of biases can cost you a championship. It can. And then it said through Greg's career, he's been, this is a quote, he said through Greg's career, he's been hot a lot. And then there has been moments where he just feels like it's just off by, you can see it on film, coach, but it's just off by this much, and he'll find it for sure, Foster told reporters on January 6th. I think over the last couple of weeks, he's just a little bit off, and he knows it. And he knows better than anybody, including myself, at how to kind of fix it and tighten it up. Look at all this optimism. Oh, just so much optimism. We're talking splitting hairs. But I know when Greg's been counted on, he's produced. According to Foster, kickers have the most pressure of any specialist. So he continues. This is what he said. Being a kicker is hard because if you miss as a kicker, it's wide left or wide right, and you missed it, said Foster. If you missed it as a punter, it might hit the ground and roll for 20 yards. Hey, that was a great 50-yard net punt. So there's a lot more critique that goes with kickers misses. Look at all this covering he doing for a shaky kicker. Just look at it. And I'm gonna talk about how this relates to these kickers. So he said he missed a lot of spring and summer where he usually kind of finds that sweet spot. I'm gonna read that again. He said he missed a lot of spring and summer where he usually kind of finds that sweet spot. Training camp was just getting his leg back to being able to swing. And in a little bit of fairness to him, he spent quite a bit of time during the season doing what he normally during the summer, still trying to find that thing. And just like today, when it was all falling apart, you were still seeing confidence by front office. So Mark Lane also reported that Stephen Jones tells 105.3 The Fan they had the utmost confidence in Greg Zuerlein. He's our kicker. And so this what happened. Then he said, he's going to find it, said Fassel. He's going to find it. Mark my words. And if not, put it on me. But he's going to find it. And it's going to be the big one. I've seen it before. Okay. Well, he didn't find it. He didn't. And did they put it on you? The answer is no. And when you look at the posts of what people was thinking around that time, here's a good example on Twitter where somebody tweeted Brian Broaddus, and this is the sentiment of most of us. We was looking at the relationship between John Fassel and Greg and scratching our head. This is what somebody said to Brian. He said, Brian Broaddus, are Coach John Fassel and Greg Zuerlein secret lovers or something? I don't understand why a coach is so stubborn with putting the same kicker out there when he's not consistently making kicks. What does that sound like? Does that sound like now?
Yoga fire, yoga flame.
Yeah, it does. It sounds just like now. So what's crazy is he's our kicker, but guess who got waived? The guy who said put it on me, John Fassel, they didn't put it on him. Like I said earlier, the players get cut first before the bad coaches. That's a long pattern in Dallas. It happened with Scott Linehan. It happened with Jason Garrett. A whole lot of good players got fired before the real corporates ever got fired. It's a pattern in Dallas. It happens a lot. I've been saying this. It's what it is. They first blame the players before they blame the coaches. Even after John said, put this decision on me. Nope, they didn't. When you are managing with your feelings, right? A lot of times people put what I call their thumb on the scale, because I always said this world is ran by ego, and you never want to work for somebody that bet against you. You always want to work for somebody that bet on you, because they're going to do everything to appear right either way. So if they bet against you, they go try to make themselves look right. They go be hating on you. They go be nitpicking you. But if they bet on you to make themselves, if they got a big ego, to make themselves appear right, they go give you all the benefits of the doubt. And that's what we saw with Lyle versus Steele. That's what we saw in a lot of these competitions, where a lot of people put their opinions in the public. So they are still doing everything possible to try to make themselves appear right on their initial judgment. That's what we're looking at. And sometimes you get people that put their thumb on the scale. An example was Mike McCarthy with Ben DiNucci. When we saw all those reps in preseason with Ben DiNucci, and they wasn't giving preseason reps, quality was to Cooper Rush and Gilbert. That was Mike McCarthy trying to put his thumb on the scale for his boy, his guy. And we all see it. It's the same thing the Cowboys do with certain players, like even Sean Lee, who admitted if he wasn't a Cowboy, he would have been out the league. He said that publicly. He said, I would have been out the league if I wasn't a Cowboy. And that sounds cute when you bigging up Jerry and Steven for being loyal to you. But who was that disloyal to? Yeah, it was disloyal to the other linebackers that should have took your job. But see, that's not discussed. And these type of ego decisions can cost you games, and big games. Because where you have to make the tough decisions, like, man, I've been with you 12 years, Greg, but I'm gonna have to let you go. You can't do that because your heart is already in it, and he's one of my guys. I bet on Greg the leg. They even had a nickname for him. And so just think about it. This is how you know it's ego. I'm gonna show you the number one way you know it's ego, and that John Fassel and the Cowboys run this organization with a lot of ego, just keeping it honest. So this is the number one way that you know, because remember, initially he said Greg finds his sweet spot in the summer, right? But could he have a summer? No. Why? Because July 22nd, 2021, Zuerlein has been placed on the PUP list due to off-season back surgery. See, it was obvious then. The 33-year-old kicker has a history of back problems, including December 2017 surgery to repair a herniated disc. Even so, let me make this bigger. This is the big part. Even so, the Cowboys head into training camp without another kicker on the roster. So this man has back problems, and you don't even have another kicker on the roster. It wasn't even a real competition last year, was it? And this is how you really know it's extremely obvious. It's from Kyle Forbath. Kyle Forbath is the main reason it's obvious. Kyle Forbath with the Cowboys was 100% on his kicks. You can't get better than 100%. You can't get better than perfect. And he couldn't come in. You can't get better than perfect. But yet, he couldn't come in and compete. He couldn't come in and make the case against a guy that was on the PUP list who was 100%. Yeah. No. Because when ego is the problem, see, that's why I said people like, boss, what you mean it's not the kickers? It's what you mean those kickers, they're missing, boss. Jonathan and Lirum, they're missing, boss. Yeah, but they not the problem, though. They not the problem. No, John Fassel the problem. That's who the problem is. Because we keep seeing his decisions affect us when he is not bringing in proper competition to really allow the best man to win. All this undying fate. I wouldn't be surprised if he's behind the scenes trying to steal lobby for Greg because he put his thumb on the scale. Because it looked like you put your thumb on the scale last year because you don't have the common sense to actually bring in a kicker who was perfect for the Dallas Cowboys in his kicks. Perfect. I don't care what his problems is. I don't care if he was a jerk. I don't care if his swag was too much. I don't care if he was obnoxious. I don't care. When it came down to doing your job on the field, he was doing it. So now we all falling for the Lucy with the football with Charlie Brown. That's what's happening, and we still don't see it. We around here, oh, the kicker competition. Oh, now do what you said, Dallas. John said, if this don't work, put it on me. Well, put it on him. Cause see, he playing with kicker again. He playing with it again. How many times it's gonna cost us momentum, potential championships, before we get serious about dealing with the ego issues that go on with the Dallas Cowboys? Because it's this favoritism and ego and my guy, that corporate America stuff, that's what's gonna take us down. And I've seen this in corporate America. That's why I don't do business or work for people unless I'm either a partner or I got to be the all right boss, because I've seen this stupid stuff too much. I was the #1 salesperson in the country for a Fortune 100 company. The #1. I was beating my competitor literally 3 times. But he was in Dallas at the time. I was in Katy, Texas, an outskirt of Houston. I was #1 in the country. That guy had way more resources than me. I made a case to the managers. I said, hey, I at least need to have resources that equal him, because I could do more if I had the same resources as he has. But that guy was in Dallas and he was drinking beer with the regional managers. He knew all of them personally. I'm way in a whole nother city, just working hard. I got my head down like Kyle Forbath, just working hard. And you know what the answer was? This bull crap. Well, we like him. That was a real answer. Yeah, a real answer. And I was Kai for bad. I was 100%. So yeah, I've seen this many times. This is why I call us the corporate America Cowboys. Until we culturally get rid of that sin out of our organization, we will never be as serious about contending as what we claim. So again, I'm gonna tell y'all, it is not these kickers. The kicker is not the problem. Nope. It's the culture of the Dallas Cowboys blatantly allow people to make decisions based on their feelings and their personal preferences. And it's a culture of it. It's allowed, and it's what's gonna cost us if we don't get serious about aggressively going with the best guys. That's why I still commend Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy for the rise of Dennis Houston. That's why I commend them, because that's a cultural effect that vibrates through the whole team. When one guy is being fair and that's able to rise from humble beginnings, then that gives hope to everybody out there that's trying to compete. It's a culture thing. And the Dallas Cowboys, frankly, got to take culture more serious.
Yoga fire.
So obviously, if you like this type of content, y'all continue to like, share, and subscribe to Boss Cowboy Sports. You should have already hit that like button by now, but I'm giving y'all the real. I'm not giving you the fake. I'm not giving you the fake bubble gum. This is measured Kool-Aid. You got to look at all the factors of what's really going on, and it's way more than the kicker. Do me a favor, hit that share button and put this out there. This is one that we got to spread. You got to spread this type of content if you're serious about ideas that move us closer to winning a championship. That's what this whole channel is about, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Until then, y'all stay up. Peace.